So, one of my finals this quarter was to make a vision board, and I didn't really know what that was, or if it'd be helpful for me to have one, but after a ton of research, I've broken it down to 4 easy steps. Now, people make vision boards for a ton of different reasons. Mine, personally, will be focused on my goals as a playwright and different things I want to focus on in my writing, but you can make one for whatever goal you want. The possibilities are endless. Let's go. So, first we have step 1, gather supplies. Not all the stuff you see here ended up on the board, but I tried to give myself as much stuff as possible so I'd have options. I picked things that would either inspire or motivate me, be practical for making the board, or be pretty. So, I'm fortunate enough to just have an unopened corkboard laying around after being abandoned from another project, but a lot of people use poster board as their backing, which would work just as well and is also cheaper. I got my only non-holiday wrapping paper, so I could use it as a backing. I have a couple patches and stickers I've been too scared to commit to putting on jackets or water bottles or my laptop or anywhere. This sticker was a Christmas gift from one of my best friends. It says, "Though she be but little, she is fierce," and it's a quote from Midsummer Night's Dream. I have this funky picture of a dog that I bought at Comic-Con a few years ago that I'm just like, I'm obsessed with it. It brings me so much joy. Here's an old, slightly water-damaged calendar from 2018 that I never used. The pictures are still in good condition, and my boyfriend's favorite flower is a sunflower, so I'm putting some on the board to remind me of him. Here's some ribbon. Is ribbon the right word for this? It doesn't feel like ribbon, it's like jewels. So fun fact, the reason I even have this is as a sophomore or a junior, I had this strapless ball gown prom dress, and we weren't allowed to have strapless dresses, so I got some of this to try to make straps out of, and then I got really nervous about it, and then my dad called the school, and they said I could have a strapless dress, because even though it wasn't allowed, no one was going to actually dress code me for it. And now, I'm going to try putting it around the border of my thing. We'll see if it's ugly or not. I might not end up using this. When I graduated high school last year, I had a friend group of like 7 people, and I went to Claire's and I bought us these terrible plasticky rings so that we could be like 7 rings for Ariana Grande, a song we liked to make fun of and also unironically enjoy. This reminds me of my friends. I put it on a chain because it is too small for my adult-size hands. I stole my mom's Sharpies that she keeps in this pouch that has a picture of a dog on it. I got note cards and scissors and push pins for writing, trimming, and attaching. So now I'm going to type up my 5 things I want to do with my art, what I'm trying to get across, things to inspire me, and type them up, maybe find a fun font, maybe I'll just write them down on the note cards and pin them up and cut them out in fun ways, I don't know yet. Also, I'd like to have pictures, actual printed up pictures on here, probably one of my friends and one of me and my boyfriend, but I don't have access to good printing paper for pictures, so I'll probably add those after this. I'm not sure why I'm so awkward on camera, feel free to bully me about it. Also, I didn't realize I type so weird, so also feel free to bully me about that. Last quarter, I took a dramaturgy class where I made a list about things we wanted for the future of theater. I went through that list I had made and found ones that were relevant to my writing, and I wrote them down to a new list. I shortened them so they wouldn't take up too much space. I also decided to handwrite them rather than print them, so for now I just wrote the list on my computer. So, my list is done. I have 5 things. I think I'm going to write them out on note cards, and if they look bad, I'll print them out, because sometimes my handwriting can be yikes. So while I'm waiting to put on pictures of my friends until I get better paper to print on, I decided I was going to print out one image that really inspires me that I took last year when I was in Barcelona of 2 angel statues at sunset. I was super into angels in America at the time. It's one of my favorite photos, so I decided I would waste some ink on this. I decided to crop it so I wasn't wasting too much ink, and here it is. And that is all of my supplies. So, the audio turned out kind of weird here. It might turn out kind of weird. I mean, I'm incredibly awkward on camera. No one needs to see this. Basically, what I'm saying is the article really focuses on being in the right atmosphere or zone while making your board, so I decided to make some good vibes around me. The first step is to make sure your space is clean. Next, switch into an outfit that makes you feel cute, comfortable, confident, and most importantly, like yourself. I got this shirt from Pull & Bear, and the skirt is thrifted. I went and filled up my water bottle. Always remember to stay hydrated, kids. My best friend got me this candle a little while back for, I think, Christmas? I might be wrong. It was for some event. I'm not one to really use candles, and the house I'm moving into doesn't allow candles, so I figured I might as well use this. I just need to chop the top off and light it up. I am bad at lighting candles and very scared of fire, but you know, I tried. I tried my best. I did it! The candle is gonna vibe up there, so nothing catches on fire. The last thing I did was making a relaxing playlist. Honestly, I spent way too much time on this. I spent an hour on something I'm only gonna use, probably once. But once that was done, I was ready to get started. Alexa, play Relaxing Vibes playlist.
playlist Acoustic Chill.
No, Alexa, play my Relaxing Vibes playlist on Spotify.
Relaxing Vibes from Spotify.
So with the playlist finally on, it was time to start on part 3, creating. So the first thing I did was take my markers and my note cards and write out each of my 5 things onto its own note card. My first card says, inclusivity and diversity in all stories, and by that I mean we should focus on including minority groups in stories that do not revolve around their oppression. There can be gay characters in stories unrelated to homophobia and people of colors in stories unrelated to racism. I think we should be doing this in all stories, especially in revivals. My next card is a reminder to stay creative with my writing. I often find myself falling into ruts where my work becomes uninteresting or I'm scared to try something because I'm afraid it's too weird, but I think most art can stand to be a little weirder and I want to keep pushing myself forward. My next card says, focus on outreach and accessibility. Theater is kind of inherently elitist and classist, and because of that, it's really hard to expand to new audiences. I want to spend time and energy reaching out to groups of people who have less interest or less access to theater. So a big struggle I have with my writing is a lot of the time when I'm like halfway through a project, I'll just decide no one will ever want to read it. It's too niche or too boring or too slow or too specific to what I want or to my life experience. But when I power through and finish, I almost always find people who enjoy it. So this card says, write what matters to you. I promise someone will want to read it. My last card is like the most specific to issues about my writing process. My number one cause for abandoning a project is if I don't know what it's about. So before every project and every time I sit down to write, I try to figure out what the point is of what I'm writing. So this card says, find the point and let it drive you, whether it be big picture or for individual scenes. Lastly, I whipped up a few other things I'd like on the board, including my favorite lyric from my favorite song, this quote from the only good Ed Sheeran song that's relevant to my current work in progress, and this little drawing that represents a one act I previously had produced. Finally, it was time to actually put stuff on the board! I started by putting that jewelry ribbon stuff around the edge as a trim. I briefly thought I had run out and didn't have enough, but then I scoured my craft drawer and I found some extra. Then it was time to add all my things. I spent a while putting them in different places and playing around with spacing. While all my note cards made it in, a lot of other things didn't make the cut, like the stickers and the patches and that wonderful drawing of the dog. I didn't want my board to be overly crowded, so I spent quite some time just putting things in different places and finding out where it would work. And voila! It's finished. I'm pretty proud with how it turned out, given that I went in not knowing anything. It's got some issues I might fix in the future, but for now I really like it. A lot of examples I've seen of other boards are a bit more crowded, and that's fine, but that's not really what I think would be helpful for me. I'm actually excited to have this up in my room. And now it's time for step 4, which is cleanup.